Welcome to Decentralized News. I am your host, Peter DeVries, joined by my co-host, Adamus from the United Kingdom and Ozzy over in Canada. If you're interested in Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies, DeFi, and the macro news that affects it, welcome in. This is not financial advice. Please do your own research. Now let's get started with some of the biggest headlines. NFT marketplace aggregator Blur.io has surpassed Uniswap, OpenSea, and Ethereum transactions as the top ETH burner over the past 24 hours. 252 ETH was burned between February 18th and February 19th. Have you even heard of Blur?
I heard
Not
of
until just now.
I heard about Blur when their token dropped last week. Everyone was losing their mind. Everyone was super pumped, but yeah, it's nuts. It started with a few people getting burned by some fake wrapped ETH
Yeah,
liquidity.
whenever there's a lot of hype, which there has been, yeah, a lot of
Oh,
fraud.
Yeah, there's
absolutely.
always someone out there trying to cash in and scam it.
Yeah, so this marketplace launched just in October 2022, not very old at all. They had a token airdrop on 214. They had their first token airdrop was launched through these care packages, and like 90 something percent have been claimed. Blur.io is an NFT marketplace aimed at pro traders with the ability to sweep the floor of multiple marketplaces from one dashboard. The traders seem to like it and are going there. They gained notoriety through its airdrop campaign in late 2022, which we just mentioned, and has a meteoric rise in popularity lately. So much so that it caused OpenSea, this just happened, I think, Friday, to temporarily drop its 2.5% fee that it charges to
Y-
compete because of the market share they're losing.
Yeah, it makes sense. Something with less fees would
Yep.
definitely.
Doesn't charge, they don't charge fees. That was the other thing I didn't mention. Yeah. They don't charge
Well,
any
it's an
fees.
aggregator, isn't it? So we've seen this in DeFi for quite a bit to get on different protocols for different yields and whatnot. So it's a great idea, to be honest, because that's always the thing with NFTs I've found. I don't do a lot of it myself, but knowing which marketplace to go on to get the best deals and for certain projects is quite tricky sometimes if you're not in the know. So this is a great way, make it more accessible to people. So it's a good shout list, to be fair. I can see why they've had a massive amount of volume go through it.
Yeah, not
Like you
only
say, to
that,
sweep the floor.
not only that, but like not having a 2%, 2.5% fee means that when you're selling, you can like your profits 2%, 5% higher. Or if you're, I know some guys that like scalp NFTs, so they'll sweep the floor and then just bring it up 2.5% or 5%, just a little bit more. And so by lowering the fees from 2.5%, they're able to now you only need the 2.5%, a little bit more than a 2.5% rise in price to scalp the NFT and make more money.
Yeah, in the end, when I'm buying an NFT, and I'm not like a professional trader or anything like that, I just want to go where I can easily get it. I'm not hardcore, or oh, I got to go to OpenSea to feel comfortable or anything like that. I'll go to any marketplace. I feel comfortable going to different marketplaces. So I'm excited to check this one out.
Well,
This,
it's a comparison site, isn't it? So you have it when you buy car insurance or anything like that. So it's a great idea, a great business model.
this has all been happening while Bitcoin has been kind of trending sideways the last couple of days anyway, pumped up and has been trending sideways. I'm wondering whether it's going to break out of this range between 22 and 25 towards the upside or towards the downside. Are the bulls or the bears going to win?
It's hard to know. Market data on Friday was neutral. Adamus and I were talking about this on Saturday, and there were some things that were above expectations, some things that were below expectations. There was no real clear indication, and I think the market's looking for that, especially with the Fed coming up in just over 2 weeks on the 15th. There's concerns about whether the terminal rate is going to be even higher than initially expected. They're thinking maybe we're going to see 3 rate hikes instead of just 2. And so that's what's confusing and concerning the market right now. On top of that, there's a whole bunch of market news that's still yet to come out this week. PMI tomorrow on Tuesday, existing home sales. We've got jobless claims on Thursday, Fed minutes on Wednesday, GDP, which I think will be
GDP,
pretty
yeah.
big on Thursday as well, and then PCE on Friday. So as well as new home sales. So this is a busy week in terms of potential economic indicators. And I think Bitcoin is literally sitting there waiting for indicators to suggest, hey, is the Fed going to be just talking about one more rate hike? Are they going to be talking about another two or more rate hikes? Are interest rates going to hit 6%, or are we going to stay in this 5% range?
Yeah, like you say, it's a big week this week. There's a lot of TradFi stuff going on as well. So you got a lot of the big banks over here in Europe and whatnot are releasing their figures this week as well. And Walmart are releasing some figures as well. So I think it's going to have a bit of an impact on TradFi, which again, not that it should do, but it always does have an impact on the price of crypto. So it is something to be a bit wary of. So I think tomorrow it'll still can't carry on as it has been. And then towards the end of the week, we'll know whether if we're back in bull or not.
Looks like there's enough
Or a
reports where
mini
there's
bull.
some volatility if things don't go as expected. So it'll be interesting
Yeah.
to watch.
Yeah.
The other thing really affecting the crypto markets lately has been a lot of regulation news. The SEC seems to be sitting up in its chair lately. Nexo announced a US exit following SEC settlement. They have an EIP product that they're taking off the market. Their announcement, they said, we would like to inform you that we will be stopping our earned interest product, EIP, for US clients on April 1st, 2023. Last month, the SEC charged the lender with the illegal offer and sale of unregistered security through its EIP product. Nexo agreed to pay $22.5 million and remove the product, but it won't affect, supposedly will not affect other products offered to U.S. customers, but this was its main appeal.
Yeah, I mean, it follows the trend of Gemini, Kraken, and now Nexo that are all being targeted by the SEC for their earned products. It isn't surprising that way, and I'm watching to see what the next moves are. What if they're going to be targeting on ramps, or they're going to continue targeting stable coins? What's the next move? Binance, which we'll talk about a little bit later, is maybe one of the last potential offerings that could be hurt by
Have
the
you heard of this choke point 2.0?
Yes. So choke point 2.0 is something that I'm actually being invited to go on another show and talk about as well. But it basically was a Obama era policy to help basically debank or restrict access to online sports betting.
Yeah,
And
like poker league, I think.
poker, and yes, particularly poker. And so they would basically make it harder and harder for money to be on-ramped into these online poker. And they couldn't pass laws, so they did it this way. And so maybe we see something similar with crypto. That would
Yeah, maybe
be
it's
an unwise theory.
maybe it's just anecdotal, but just yesterday I tried to make a purchase on crypto.com. I wasn't able to allowed by my bank anymore. So we'll see how that plays out. It's interesting. But that it may be a coordinated effort, put pressure on the banking system just to limit it. But hopefully we don't go that direction. But the SEC chairman has proposed amending federal custody rules to cover all crypto assets. Gary Gensler announced on Wednesday that he proposed changes to federal regulations to quote unquote expand and enhance the role of qualified custodians. Close quote. All asset classes, including crypto, would be included in expanded custody rules under his proposal. And companies offering crypto securities to their clients would be required to obtain registration. So he's going after more power for sure.
It sounds like he's trying to bring crypto under the control of the banks. That's what that statement really says. Or things like Robinhood. That's basically qualified custodians. So basically, if you're a crypto company, you're screwed.
Regulated.
Yeah.
Because you're going to have no option otherwise.
Either
It's
you become
happening.
regulated, or
Yeah.
you're being cut off because the banks are taking your job.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it highlights 4 key proposed changes. 1, to ensure that customer assets are properly segregated. 2, advisors and qualified custodians will be required to enter into written agreements with each other that help guarantee the custodian's protections. 3 would make explicit the custody's rules safeguards applied to discretionary trading when an advisor would seek to buy or sell an investor's assets on behalf of the investors. And 4, even enhanced requirements for foreign financial institutions. See, but the SEC also, they charged Labs founder Do Kwon for fraud, officially, for quote unquote orchestrating a multi-billion-dollar crypto asset security fraud. They failed to provide the public with full, fair, and truthful disclosure, and alleged they committed fraud by repeating false and misleading statements to build trust, causing devastating losses for investors. You guys see this story?
It took way too long for this to happen, and also just feels, I don't know, did someone stick a stick up Gary Gensler's butt right now? Because he, all of a sudden, it seems like someone's prodding him with a hot iron and telling him, go after crypto. Silence for 9+ months, and oh, now it's time. Now that there's a little bit of a mini bull market-ish going on, Golden Cross, Death Cross stuff. I should go wreck their day. I don't know.
Yeah, and this one, the argument that I heard about this is, or why it's bad is, it's awful fact. So they're suing someone, and basically any funds that would come back to investors that actually get screwed, so they're basically taking a cut of it. Have you heard that critique of coming in after the fact like this?
Yeah, definitely coming for a cut of it. Every single time someone like Nexo or etc. gets in trouble, guess how much they're paying in fines? It's in crypto fines alone. I can think of at least almost $100 million in fines that collected from Nexo, Coinbase, Gemini, Kraken.
This is how it works. This is what they do. It's been going on in the traditional world for God knows how long. Like this is just how the business is done with them. Like, they take the fines and crack on, let people do what they want. Like some to get paid.
Yeah, I wish I saw more or as much protecting of my rights to the market as protecting me from the market. I know the SEC, it's nanny state-ish. It's okay. Thanks, Mom. I'll put my coat on, but at least let me go outside. Don't completely cut off the market, Jimmy. And I hope that's not the direction we're going.
Yeah, I hope so too, because it's not. People can make their own decisions about crypto. And okay, yes, certain protections aren't necessarily being respected. But don't make it so that I have to go deal with my bank. I hate dealing with my bank. They're a pain in my ass. Let me manage my own money as I see fit.
Yeah, that's one of the things the blockchain was supposed to help make money better and reduce the need for all these banks. So maybe it's just the friction that was inevitable.
Yeah, there's got to be a bit of an equilibrium, hasn't there? We've got to find a natural sort of balance between ideologies and the real world, haven't we? And this is just part of the process. It'll be a bit heavy-handed with stuff, and then people will push back a bit, and it'll just naturally, it might take 5-10 years more before we sort of have something, a workable model altogether.
That fight between centralization and decentralization.
Exactly.
There's a part of that debate is commodities versus securities and what things are going to be labeled. And ETH co-founder Joe Lubin was interviewed by Cointelegraph and made comments on the security debate about ETH. There's some quotes here. I think it's, in terms of them being labeled as security, he said, quote, I think it's as likely and have the same impact as if Uber was made illegal. And there would be a tremendous outcry, not just from the crypto community, but different politicians and certain regulators. He said that ETH continues to be sufficiently decentralized and pointed to the many use cases that don't implicate it as a security. What do you think? Do you guys think ETH is a security?
I don't think so. I think at this point, ETH is pretty decentralized with the fact that all proposals are voted on by validators who are not controlled solely by the ETH Foundation. You've got tons of use cases for ETH in terms of acquiring NFTs and otherwise. And so you're not
Smart contracts, yeah.
smart contracts. It's just, there's a lot more use cases to ETH than just, but you're buying ETH to make money. Yes, A lot of people buy ETH in the hopes of making money, but ETH itself does not necessarily, it's not buy it get to make money. It's not, not buying a stake in a company.
A lot of the times you buy ETH so you can do a transaction as well. So you can make the transaction.
Oh yeah.
So to burn it in gas. So it's not, can't be then, can it? Because you're technically buying that for gas. You're not buying that to turn, for then expecting that to go in value, are you?
No.
Product.
Yeah.
So they're done. Move on.
Yeah, I'm not so convinced that it's not a security, but I'm also not convinced that they can't win the argument with regulators, because that's a different, different thing in and of itself. He also made some comments about staking. He agreed with Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong's recent statement, saying staking is not a security, and it would be a terrible path for the US if staking was banned. And it's a really important innovation in crypto. It should just be embraced more than shut down.
Staking is not only more energy efficient, it's not, if it's actually staking for real yield. So like you're not just printing more tokens, you're actually like, you're earning yield from staking in some way, then that's not a security, that's staking. That like you're earning money by lending something. It's just like a bank gives a loan. They're earning money off the interest from someone else borrowing your money or you borrowing money. So I don't get it.
When you deposit money into a bank, you get your interest.
Yeah.
So that's the same thing, yeah.
Yeah, they use your money to buy loans.
To get to other people's loans, and then they take the cream off the top.
That's it. If you think of it on centralized exchanges, what they're doing is you're staking your crypto, they're lending it out for people to use as margin or otherwise, and you're earning yield from that, which is just like the banks do. And you don't have to sign some weird disclosure form that saying the bank's lending out your money. So,
well, if they can argue that stable coins are securities, I think no holds barred. No, what they can't, they're going to call Bitcoin a security by the end of it.
That's what Gary Gensler would want, but I don't know who he'd find to be able to find.
Yeah, they got to find Satoshi first.
You'd have to find.
Yeah, go find him if you can find him.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Speaking of settling with the SEC, Binance CSO admits they are trying to settle a lawsuit. The crypto exchange Binance expects to pay penalties to settle U.S. investigations. So they were denying this for a while. So I guess it's a little bit of a change in tone in their rhetoric, but they're working with regulators to figure out what remediations are necessary. And it could be a fine or more, but a little bit of a change in tone from them. It's like, we're willing to work with you and move on if we can.
Oh, it just sounds like everyone would it's happening to everybody.
He's doing the rounds, isn't he?
Yeah.
Is he up for promotion or something?
Yeah, Gary Gensler is like here knocking on doors. Hey, it's your time. It's your turn to come pay me for protection.
Passing the hat around.
Yeah, exactly. If you want protection, you got to pay your fine.
Checking the hat after each one.
Is that enough? No. You need more. You need more protection.
Like, he's going to send the boys around. Is that what he's going to do?
Yeah, exactly.
Some FUD that kind of came out that Binance was going to consider to listing all US-based cryptocurrencies. It was a Bloomberg report, but
some FUD never happens.
Yeah, but it was from Bloomberg, right? But then it came out.
Okay.
FUD is that it was false.
Bloomberg's been picking up stories wrong a lot lately. I don't know who their correspondent is or where they're getting all this intel. Some of it makes me wonder if it's Sam Bankman-Fried or someone who's there.
Oh, who's putting on the tinfoil hat this week?
The SEC has forced me to put my tinfoil hat on. It's their actions have not impressed me, and
we'll see how Binance recovers and responds. He made another interesting comment. They see potential in non-US stable coins. I thought that was an interesting perspective. I never really thought of that, but adoption may prove difficult. The largest non-dollar fiat-backed stable coin is currently the Euro Tether, which has a market capitalization of just 220 million compared to USDT, which is 70 billion.
The US would really not like that. Then the SEC would be coming to be really putting their head out there, saying, especially to Tether, like, pay up. And Binance would definitely have to be paying 4 or 5 times the size of the fine they're expecting to pay now, probably. It's the US doesn't like people moving away from the US dollar. Gary Gensler's going to ensure that.
Well, there's some news on the, I don't want to say regulation, but on the right side. Was it Wyoming? Wyoming passed a law where like you don't have to give up your private keys in any court proceedings or anything like that. It doesn't mean they can't know about your crypto assets or get information, but you don't have to give up your private key. It's just like ensuring your right to your own private key. I thought that was really
That is very interesting. I'm liking Wyoming has been very forward and crypto positive lately, and so I'm very bullish. Maybe I'll move to Wyoming just for
It reminded me of the story last week about the mining rights and, just protecting the right of your ability to mine and your access to power, like simple things like that. And your right to your private keys, as much as it's protect me from the market. Yeah. Give me my rights to the market as well.
Yeah. Almost like a human right sort of thing. You're
Right.
entitled to this, that, and the other. You're entitled to your private keys.
And really, the longer I've been in this space, I have no doubt the community will have to demand it in order to get it.
Definitely.
There's no way it's just going to be given away. It's hard to imagine that.
It makes me think of one of the mottos for one of the states. I think it's New Hampshire: "Live free or die." And that's how I feel about the market. Let me live free with the market and do as I please.
I saw another one. It was like, come and take it. And it was a ledger kind of shaped like a gun. Yeah. Well, that was pretty funny too. Come and get my private keys. Wyoming has been, when I was reading about the story, one of the interesting things I found out is they have a stablecoin effort. They have a proposed bill called the Wyoming Stablecoin Act, and it moved forward in January, and it passed the State Minerals Business and Economic Development Committee with amendments. And this is the second attempt for this concept. Another version of the bill was passed by the legislature last year, but was vetoed. The act would create a Wyoming stablecoin commission and authorize the minting of a yet to be named stablecoin. It would be backed 1-to-1 investments in U.S. Treasury bills held by the state. So similar to how Tether operates, just takes the money, buys Treasury bill, earns a yield on. So I thought that was interesting. It doesn't look like close to passing or that, but just the fact that these kind of efforts are going on.
It'd be good, like, if the government wants to make money on crypto in some way, this is probably one of the, I would say, better options. Like an option that I'd be more open to.
Yeah,
is
state coins. Interesting.
state or federal level stable coins that basically generate yield based off of the minting of stable coins. And that's used to help pay for education, healthcare, infrastructure. Like, I'm okay with that. That makes sense to me. All this whole stable coins are a security thing is bullcrap. But something like that, sure, let's talk about it.
Yeah, I'm
Well,
more.
if you get your tinfoil hat on, then you'd be like, they're pushing all this stuff on everyone. And maybe this is a little test by the bigger government to see if this works. We'll put the blockers on everyone else. We'll let you, Wyoming, succeed. And once that succeeds, then we'll say the only one we can do is the United States stable coin. All the others are all securities. We can't function. They're not back-to-back assets and all this sort of stuff. If you're going to have your tinfoil hat on, do you think that?
My tinfoil hat's been on, and I'm 90% sure I made.
That's the way it's going here. And this is just the test.
Especially if the Federal Reserve has been talking about hiring, and not only hiring VC developers, but they're talking about launching their own.
Yeah.
Russia and Japan are both talking about launching their own CBDC pilots in April.
Yep.
So
we'll be having one over here soon enough as well.
On the UK too. To me, it sounds like that's what they're doing. They're trying to clear the market for themselves.
Yeah. Get rid of the competitors and do it.
When I started on the Not Crypto Bros episode last week, that was my exact viewpoint. That's where I think trying to clear the field. Either maybe it's for Circle, maybe it's for USDC in terms of
Oh, Gensler could be doing the rounds now, headhunting people to get onto the government payroll to get it sorted.
yeah.
I'd be shocked if they didn't have their own and they'll just
I
make
don't know. Well, you're better to employ. You've got a pool of actual people who know what's going on and been doing it for years. You just go and get them. But then again, why would you go from a lucrative job to then work for the government and get paid a capped fee sort of thing? So there'd have to be some kind of back end deal sort of thing, or something beneficial from them. They're not going to leave.
Well, think about this. Circle is partially owned by Coinbase.
Coinbase, yeah.
Coinbase's stock has been essentially down only since it IPO'd. They're one of many exchanges to lay off staff, but Binance is one of the few that hasn't. This is the only crypto custodian allowed in the market, in the US market. Think about that. Gemini, Kraken, you guys were all bad boys. You guys got fined. You were offering unlisted securities. Coinbase, we're going to go pump your stock because we're going to buy your stock first and then we're going to pump it because we're going to make you guys the only ones allowed to sell crypto in the US.
You're the poster boy, yeah. You've been working with us.
Let me know if Nancy Pelosi buys some Coinbase stock. After hearing those comments from you, I was, wait a second. What is Nancy Pelosi doing?
I'd be pretty interested. I'd be interested to see what Nancy Pelosi's doing right now.
Is that Twitter account still going what follows her shares and stuff? We keep blocking it, don't we?
They were
every time
blocking it a bunch.
Every time she like buys something or sells some, she tweets it and says, "She just done this. Time to sell up, boys."
She's a government official. It shouldn't be hard to find.
No, it's out there.
She posted herself as far as I'm.
It's on a website, I'm sure. Like, I can't remember off the top of my head what it's called.
Yeah, she should be.
Yeah.
Offering that information. Yeah.
They do have to register it, I think, 30 days after said move is done in a public register. 30 days freaking later.
Yeah.
You should be having to report the day you make the transaction or within a week. No 30 plus days business. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, they should just not be allowed to trade. Probably the answer to the question.
That's more the answer.
Yeah, but let's get off of US a little bit. Russia, along with their pilot program, Russia blockchain bill passes the first parliamentary stage. So Russia's state Duma passed a blockchain bill in the first reading. Duma members passed the bill and will now go to the committee stage. So it's just progressing. The members submitted the bill in the state Duma in October 2022, letting the financial market participants combine their operations with blockchain platforms. So I guess the financial marketplace came into existence in 2020, allows citizens to purchase various financial products on a 24/7 basis. But the regulatory bodies did not allow participants to combine their operations with the blockchain. So this is going to potentially, they will legalize the use of blockchain once it becomes law. This is pretty interesting news.
It's very interesting, especially with the fact that Sberbank has been getting ready, which is the biggest bank in Russia, has been getting ready to launch their DeFi project, their DeFi offerings to clients. I think preparing for a May launch. So very intriguing to see that state laws in Russia are moving that same direction.
Hong Kong also, they're taking public comments on some new regulation from the Securities and Futures Commission of Hong Kong. They have a current regulatory framework that was established in 2018 that only allows trading platforms to offer their services to professional traders and institutional clients. In this new consultation paper, the SFC is to allow all types of investors, including retail investors, to access trading services provided by the licensed virtual assets providers. The proposal recommends knowledge and risk assessments, as well as potentially setting limits on how much exposure investors are allowed to. And as far as which tokens can be listed, the trading platforms would be responsible for vetting the team behind the token the marketing materials, legal risks, how resistant it is to attacks, like 51% attacks. And they're only at first, I guess at first, or maybe only large cap virtual assets, but they have a public comment period until the end of March on this. So they're kind of opening the market or opening it.
Yeah,
Great news. Great for adoption, isn't it?
very
It's all
good
happening.
adoption.
Opening it in a regulated way. But
It's what we've just been saying. We've been saying it for time, haven't we? It's going that way. It's going to happen. So get on board or get off.
it's so much more organized. It's not allowing this. We were allowing it a little bit. Now we're going. It just seems like a clearer framework as opposed to what's going on over here, which is regulation by enforcement and trying to read tea leaves.
It's like you guys did a story on Revolt, which is a bank over here in the UK, and you can buy crypto on that, but it's only your very top tier. It's only, I think, sort of 10, 15 you can buy. And it's a proper bank. And it's the same sort of thing. You've got to agree that you understand what's going on. You've got to read this, click that, say, okay. When it's all integrated, but it's not your own, wallet. It's not your own self-custody. However, it is, they're doing it on your behalf, basically. And that's how this will be going. Well, again, it's all adoption. It's all people buying things like Matic, Bitcoin, ETH, which is cool.
Yeah, absolutely. El Salvador, some news at El Salvador country. They're going to open a Bitcoin embassy in Texas. This is El Salvador's second Bitcoin embassy. The first embassy was in Lugano, Switzerland. And this came about from recent meetings that included El Salvador's ambassador to the United States, Malena Mayorga, and Deputy Secretary of the Government of Texas, Joe Esparza. So yeah, hopefully they're just trying to, El Salvador State's commercial exchange of $1.2 billion in 2022, and they hope that this will help expand that. So God bless Texas.
At least a couple states are getting crypto friendly, and good for El Salvador. They keep moving forward, and I'm really happy that Bitcoin's been working for them. Let's just say that. Argentina, another South American country, is seeing a rise in P2P trading. So especially due to inflation there, a lot of people are buying crypto. This is very popular and very interesting to me.
Yeah, it's peer-to-peer trading that has been rising, or person-to-person. Sorry, I guess it could be peer-to-peer.
Yeah.
But the other thing in this story, 99% inflation.
Thank God we don't have that kind of inflation here in Canada or in the US.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just intense sounding. So
There'd be a lot more FUD with El Salvador, if you think, because they bought at the top, really, didn't they?
They did.
The majority. So I'm surprised not more people are kicking off about it, saying you put this much money in and now your bag's only worth this much. I know he keeps DCAing in, which is a good thing, but you don't really hear much FUD about it, to be fair, considering he did virtually by the top. So fair, well done. Managed that FUD really well.
If only all crypto DeFi project managers were able to handle the FUD like El Salvador has.
Yeah.
Good example for Argentina. They may have a good use case, and they're potentially a country that could be adopting it. So we'll see how that goes. They have some laws going through their government right now, so we'll see how it goes. Another country, Germany, their blockchain, they released Siemens, a company in Germany, the third largest publicly traded company in Germany, issued its first digital bond on the Polygon network. The company declined to give the interest rate of the $64 million bond, but it has a 1-year maturity. The company stated in the press release that the bonds makes paper-based global certificates and central clearing unnecessary. What more, the bond can be sold directly to investors without needing a bank to function as an intermediary. So anytime I hear bond, I get excited, but I guess this is
underlying technology. It's the underlying technology, isn't it?
Right. It's more about using.
Yeah. It's like replacing paper bills for emails and electronic bills. This is a much better way and secure and verifiable way of issuing certificates. Again, what crypto's for. This is spot on. And again, Polygon as well. Well played.
Polygon.
Yeah, I saw an interesting tidbit about this, that Polygon didn't even know about it. Like because of their technology, they were just able to do this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Independently, which I thought was interesting.
It's even better. That just shows
Yeah.
It is, yeah.
It shows the goals of blockchain,
Yeah.
permissionless.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Very good, dude. Yeah.
See, it should be bonds like that. That's exactly they're certificates. An NFT can be a certificate, so it should be like that's how it should work. So it's again, once people get that grasp around their head and go, "Oh, I don't need my bills sent in the post to my house address. I can just get an email with a PDF, and that's my bill. That's cool." But then, so I can get my share certificates or my birth certificate or whatever kind of official government document as an NFT on Polygon. It's cool. They don't even need to know it's on Polygon. They just need to have an app or something. Like,
Yeah.
people don't need to know the technology behind it all, do they? People go on a website, they don't know what HTML is or anything, do they? They just type in facebook.com and away they go.
Yeah. I guess it takes time to let go a little bit.
Yeah.
For mass adoption, but we're watching it.
See that?
Yeah, Singapore's biggest bank, DBS, reported an 80% surge in Bitcoin trading volume last year, despite the bear market. This is again from Bloomberg. So take it with a grain of salt. No, just kidding. DBS Digital Exchange, one of Asia's first bank-backed digital exchanges, has reported a year-on-year increase of 80% in Bitcoin traded. Exciting news.
Yeah, it's very exciting. Pretty nuts to think about.
Nice to see some bullish news out there. Okay, here's the story. All right, we can get into some little bit of chain news or Cardano. Mostly, we have some updates from them. They have a DJED stable coin. We talked about it lost its peg a little bit early on, but it seems to be moving along. It attracted over 30 million ADA in the first week since launch. So a week after launch, DJED has brought in 30 million ADA tokens as backing. It is backed by ADA and uses Shen token while this varies, it has a reserve ratio of 609% on 219. So as of a day or two ago. So they're continuing to move. In the last week, the total value locked on the exchanges has grown by 6.1 million ADA.
That's a lot of
So,
ADA.
yeah. So it's starting to pick up a little steam, it looks like.
Good for Cardano and good for DJED as a whole. That's a good look for them. I'm glad that things are working out. Hopefully they don't depeg again and they can keep moving in the right direction.
Yeah. They also had an upgrade that went smoothly under the radar, which is a good thing, I think, with an upgrade. It's like a hard fork upgrade. It was called the Valentine upgrade because it happened on or around Valentine's Day. And it's all to do with interoperability. So it seemed to have gone smoothly. Kind of unnoticed, which is a good thing.
Upgrades going unnoticed are always a good thing. Seamless updates, usually good. When you notice an update, usually that's a bad thing. And they even rallied almost 5% after that upgrade. So people are obviously appreciating it. So that's a good sign.
We got one kind of fun last little story before we head out for the day. There was some FUD with the Super Bowl that there was no commercials. And crypto's dead, right? Crypto's dead. But the halftime show by Rihanna, she offered as an NFT she offered a song to promote this as well with a royalty sharing ahead of the Super Bowl, and it's completely sold out. So even though there wasn't commercials, there was still adoption in that Super Bowl. Just wanted to point that out.
Very cool. Adamus, I know how much you love Rihanna, so
I
did you
absolutely adore this.
why did you buy one of these NFTs?
No, unfortunately. I missed out.
Oh, you missed the party.
Missed it. I was too busy watching the Brits.
Ah,
That's our version of the Emmys.
okay.
Too busy watching Harry Styles.
Yes, your other most favorite artist.
Yeah.
I think that's about all the stories we've got for today. Thanks for joining us, Adamus, and
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for hosting, Peter. It's always good.
Thanks for listening to Decentralized. We post to YouTube first, so please consider subscribing to catch the videos as soon as they drop. Our goal is to provide unfiltered content that will help foster genuine discussions to help the entire space grow. Please remember this is not financial advice and we are not financial advisors. This show was presented for educational and entertainment purposes only. Please do your own research before making any investment decisions. Thanks for your support and stay tuned for the next episode.